The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
Amazing Congressman, Homeland Security did so much for our 9/11 victims and families. I just love the guy. And I got to tell you, Pete, sitting there in Hudson Valley, Rockland County on Friday, Nassau County, well represented in that front row. And I believe President Trump called out about two of them. You had Bruce Blakeman. I know he's running for governor, but he is a Nassau County executive. You had Janine Driscoll, who's now been in these studios, running against Laura Gillen. You had Mike LaPetri running against Tom Suozzi. Nassau County, well represented in the Hudson Valley on Friday, Peter.
I tell you, Nassau County with Joe Cairo, Bruce Blakeman, Janine Driscoll, Michael Petrie, I mean, they are really established themselves as the base of the Republican Party in New York State and indeed nationwide. I mean, if you look around the country and you start comparing Democrats, Republican registrations, who does the best? I mean, Joe Cairo has done a phenomenal job. Bruce Blakeman, what a leader he is. He's always been, but he's really emerged now. People know who Bruce Blakeman is, and the more they know about him, again, the better it's going to be for him and for the state. Janine Driscoll is running, I think, an outstanding campaign. She was on your show. She did a great job. She really is a combination of, like, every person, a regular person, but yet incredibly intelligent at the same time. A great mother, a great wife. Everyone knows her, loves her. So, and Bruce, I mean, he is just doing a phenomenal job. Also, let me throw in something else, as long as we're talking about friends. The story you're talking about, the New York Post, about the co-op and the Israelis and the boycott. The reporter covering that, Kyra Breslin, is Jimmy Breslin's granddaughter.
Is that right? Is that Kevin's daughter?
No, Kevin's her uncle. Father is James Breslin. Kevin and James are brothers.
Right.
And again, a great guy. He's a great guy, and he's been so proud of her all along.
Aww.
And this is like her first major job, and she's really stepping right up. So it's. I said she'll be known as the good Breslin. I knew her grandfather Jimmy, and depending on what day of the week it was, either he loved you or he hated you, or he wanted to take on the world. And no, James is a great guy. Kyra from the Senate, I know her, is really very talented and a very nice person.
Oh,
but
that is.
Back to Nassau. No, you're right. We have what Joe Cairo is saying, and also Jesse Garcia in Suffolk County, is that you have to go out and work it. You can't just pick a candidate and have him run, have her run in November. You have to. This has to be. It's 24/7. Anytime you go to Republican headquarters, Joe Cairo is going to be there, and it's around the clock. It is 24/7, and it's a business, it's a profession, it's something that you have to be proud of doing. But you can't just come in the last minute, get a couple of people with some money, run a candidate, and expect to win. You got to be out there. We have at a moment's notice, Joe Cairo can have 1,000 people coming out in the streets to work your campaign, and that's what you need. You have to be committed. You can't just do it. Like as a spur of the moment, or as a second job, or as a pastime. It's serious business. You got to be at it.
Yeah, I'm looking at Suozzi, though, because, again, I agree with everything you say about Joe Cairo. I love the guy. He's really funny, too. Every time he speaks, he makes me laugh. But Suozzi, for some reason, and I don't dislike Tom. I just know he's a phony, but he's not a bad guy. But he does appeal to both Republicans and Democrats in Nassau County. And he did win. He beat Mazi Pilip, and then he beat Mike LaPetri last time. Some story surfaced about Mike, who I like a lot. I saw him on Friday. We took a great picture together, and some story surfaced about, I don't even know what it was, some resume nonsense. It doesn't matter. But it does seem like Suozzi appeals to both parties in Nassau County. Is that a stretch, or is that accurate?
No, Tom has positioned himself in the center, but my point is when it comes down to it, on really key votes, he's going to vote with the Democrats. And that's the reality. Listen, I have nothing against Tom. I've known Tom over 30 years. But the fact is, despite what he says, he is a Democrat. And the Democratic Party today is not what it used to be. Now, occasionally he will break off. But the fact is that they can count on him on the key votes, if nothing else, just to organize the Congress. But, Tom was, I guess, the mayor of Glen Cove. He was the county executive. he lost the county executive, and he lost when he ran again for re-election. And then he's lost several times. He's run for governor. So he's not invulnerable, but he's a strong candidate. You can never, ever take Tom Suozzi lightly. And, again, he's serious about his job. But I think, again, Michael Petrie can do it. He has that type of dynamism that's needed, and he will be a committed Republican down the line.
Bruce was great on Friday, Pete, and he was great to me. He actually gets up there and he starts naming people, and he goes, hey, is Sid Rosenberg here? And I was on the other side of the room because, again, just to the right of the podium where Bruce and Lawler and Trump spoke, you had all the big dignitaries, all the big shots. I was on the left side of the room, okay? And there was some pretty cool people around me, people like George Holman and Ed Day and those types of folks. So he starts looking around the room. Hey, you Sid here. And you heard like this big round of applause. And he goes, Sid. He goes, he's great. He goes, you all listen to Sid, right? And you hear this huge applause again. Chris Boyle sent me the video yesterday. It's great. So I really appreciated Bruce Blakeman doing that. But more importantly, that's silly. His speech was great. He outlined all the dangers of even considering, forgetting about voting, even considering voting for Kathy Hochul. It's been a really rough couple of weeks, and President Trump went after her pretty hard. I'm not sure if you saw the whole thing, but he said, said the same thing to me on my show, on the air, just in January. He said, Sid, Kathy calls me at night, says all these beautiful things, and the very next day, she'll kill me in the press. So he said at this rally on Friday, he goes, Kathy, be ready or be careful, or whatever he said something directed at Kathy Hochul, which said, here comes Bruce Blakeman. Kathy didn't like it. So the next morning, Kathy went on Twitter, and she said, screw Trump, and if you think I'm going to be intimidated by this MAGA Trump guy, Bruce Blakeman, you're crazy. But clearly, if you're tweeting about it the next morning, you are intimidated. Right, Pete King?
Absolutely. Listen, I've been in some tough races, but unless it really, really got close, I never even mentioned my opponent's name. Not out of any macho. Well, why give your opponent, if you think you're winning, why give your opponent any coverage at all? So the fact now, this is the second or third time that she's come back after Bruce, and to me, that's just a gift to Bruce. Every time she does that, she shows what a serious candidate Bruce is. And people, first of all, I get really annoyed with people look at the polls and, Kathy Hochul's ahead of Bruce. Of course she is. She's the incumbent. She's been there 5 years. But Bruce, the inroads he's making, listen, when he ran against Laura Curran, who, by the way, was a much better county executive than Kathy Hochul as a governor, she was very popular. And Bruce was way behind at this time, but he ended up winning because he stayed in it. He keeps going and going. He does not stop. And that's what's going to happen with governor. And unlike Laura Curran, who was popular, Kathy Hochul is not popular. Listen, I knew Kathy Hochul in Congress. She was on my committee. She was at that time a right-of-center Democrat. She wouldn't give driver's licenses to illegal immigrants when she was the county clerk up in Erie County. She really didn't involve herself with the left wing of the party at all. Then she becomes lieutenant governor, and she went further to the left than Andrew Cuomo ever thought of being. So there's no real a moral compass for her. There's no political compass. And Bruce is taking advantage of that. He's going to show that she basically, I don't think anyone is going to wake up on election day and say, I got to go out and vote for Kathy Hochul. They may say they're going to vote Republican. They're going to vote Democrat. They're going to be anti-Republican. But nobody is going to be for Kathy Hochul. Well, Bruce is going to have people who really want him. He's able to engender a lot of personal support, not just political support, but personal support. And again, I go way back with Bruce, and my daughter especially. She and Bruce were very friendly. They were really partners on the town board, and they're both councilmen in the town of Hempstead. They had incredibly close relationship. Bruce and his wife Sigal will be over at my daughter's house often. We'll be getting together for dinner a lot. So we've known Bruce going back many, many years. When I was a kid, for a while I lived in the east end of Queens in Cambria Heights for a couple of years. Bruce's father was the assemblyman. He overlapped between Nassau County and Queens. Great guy, great family, great guy. So anyway, I've gone on long enough about Bruce, but no, seriously, he's a great guy.
He is.
He's going to be our next governor.
No, he is. And his brother is great. President Trump loves his brother, too. In fact,
absolutely.
Yeah, the night that you and I were together, and it was a wonderful night at the Aviation Museum, the night that Bruce Blakeman was sworn in for the second consecutive time as a Nassau County executive, his brother was sitting with President Trump in the White House,
right.
And they called Trump together to congratulate him. You remember that?
Right.
That was
I
great.
do. And Brad is a great guy. Brad Blakeman is a great guy. Bruce's father was a great guy. His wife Segal is a wonderful person. His son Arlen is terrific. This is the kind of guy you want in there. And Bruce has been through it. Bruce has run elections. He's won. He's lost. And he never stays down. He always gets up, and he wins the races that nobody thinks he can win. And the county executive is the main example of that. Now, when he got reelected last year, people took it for granted. But the fact is, there's almost 100,000 more Democrats in Nassau County than Republicans. He had Bruce won big, and it was not a Republican year. I mean, we saw what happened in Jersey. I really thought that was going to be a close race, and it wasn't. Virginia wasn't a close race. Around the country, Democrats did well. If there was any wave, it was a Democratic wave, and with all of that, Bruce won. So he's going to win again this November. I hope so for New York. And because the state, listen, I'm a proud New Yorker. I always said born in Manhattan, raised in Queens, went to high school and college in Brooklyn. My father was NYPD for over 30 years. So I am an entrenched New Yorker, but this is a different New York than you and I knew. I mean, it really is. I was with some friends of mine down at Farrell's Bar last week. We went there. There's a documentary they're filming. And some friends of mine go back there a couple of times each year. It was like a different place in the world. Sitting there with guys who are normal, who are regular, who are pro-American, pro-cop.
Yep.
And then you go just a few blocks away and you're surrounded by a bunch of progressives and left-wingers, Mandami types. It's really a struggle for survival.
It really is. No, we need Bruce Blakeman to win. I joke around about the mayor's race and other things in the city, but the truth is, if we're going to salvage our state, and I say salvage because the truth is, I know the Knicks are exciting and the weather is getting nice and people don't care. They go to the Hamptons or Jersey Shore. They're living great. But the truth is, we're in big trouble. The city's in big trouble. The state's in big trouble. If we're going to salvage it, Bruce has to win. If not, like I said earlier, the state goes right down the toilet, and the city too. Bruce Blakeman has to win. And with friends like you, Peter King, he's got a shot. Another amazing appearance this morning, Pete King. As always, thank you so much. We'll do it again soon, buddy. Thank you so much.
Okay, and even with friends like you, we're still going to win.
I'm going to make sure he's going to win. I love you, pal. Thank you so much. Pete's funny. Always has a good line or two. Every time he comes on, he's funny. I love Peter King. Great job there, Pete.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?